Welcome in, Original Soul. Thanks for showing up and bringing your energy to this Mind, Body, Spirit reading. All right, so far with the cards, we've got out indecision, self-esteem, happiness, and regret. So let's jump into the cards, see what's shaken, shall we? All right, so we'll start with indecision, position of the mind. So have you been feeling indecisive or uncertain? Sometimes that feeling of just being frozen and unable to kind of move forward or pick a direction. But indecision says, I use intuition in all aspects of my life. All right, so let's add a couple cards to indecision. And when you are faced with choices, it can be a really good idea to get grounded, get quiet, and listen into your body. Maybe you imagine, picking one way or the other, whatever this might be about, and just see how you feel when you do that. Your body does send you messages and it does have reactions. So really tuning into those signals, those feelings. If that's something that's been difficult or challenging, now is a super great time to start working on that connection and just practicing. All right, but let's see here. What is going on with indecision? Okay, so 2 flipped out. All right, King of Wands and Knight of Pentacles. Let me hold this up. King of Wands is a pretty powerful energy. You can see that lion there. Really creative, really magnetic, charismatic is coming to mind. What is up at the top? Oh, I'm seeing a little frog, I think, up at the top of this chair. I've never noticed that before. All right, so maybe it's time to get a little bit lighter. I'm just picturing frogs, how they kind of hop around. So getting a little bit lighter in your step or lighter in your mindset. Maybe you've kind of been sitting in this chair looking out a little bit too long. Like I was saying, kind of almost just frozen or paralyzed might be a good word. Not really knowing what to do. He almost looks maybe stumped a little bit. All right, so tapping into some of that, more of that frog energy to get a little lighter. Or again, as I mentioned, if you go more internal, or if you can try to do that, what makes you feel lighter? Sometimes one choice may be more difficult, but it feels more exciting to you. It brings you just some sort of spark or happiness, which is, right, the King of Wands is all about following passion and spark. And you might think of another one that maybe seems more logical or maybe a more obvious choice, but you might notice, right, you have no excitement, or there's none of that kind of flitter going on in your belly. You're not interested in having a little hop in your step. And then, with the Knight of Pentacles, this is almost no movement. This is the slowest knight. You can see how he's just sort of standing there with the horse, has the pentacle in his hand. But it's time to actually plant that seed, plant that pentacle, make that step. Right? Nothing can really grow if you're just sitting there holding on to the seeds. So, speaking of, I just found 2 packs of bulbs that I meant to plant last year. So obviously those couldn't grow. I never even put them in the ground. So moving forward with some plans, taking out that apprehension, right? That's not easy. Obviously there's some level of fear associated with that, especially if something is into more of the unknown. Okay, let's move on with self-esteem. I possess gifts of the soul that benefit me and others. I'd have to check back, but I'm pretty sure self-esteem came out in the same position last week with your body. was just talking a lot about the body with helping you make decisions, right? It's not just all about what's up here in your logical mind. And let's all be honest, sometimes our brains are not logical at all. Sometimes our perceptions or what we're thinking may not always make sense, even though in our head it does. So more, just more energy about getting more in touch with your body, understanding that you do have something special and unique. Again, maybe there is, again, just some challenges that you've been faced, or you may have, again, as I'm talking about that perception, maybe there is a perception around yourself, whether that's, your physicality or some condition that you may deal with or need to learn how to work with. That might be also kind of bogging you down or keeping you stuck. All right, let's see though what comes out here with self-esteem. All right, so Seven of Pentacles. This could be something around work or creative projects, career. It doesn't have to be, but so far we do have some pentacles here showing up. All right, we got red squirrel just sitting around sort of waiting. Now look, seeds have been planted. But this is about patience. Maybe things aren't happening as quickly as you wanted. Perhaps you did put out some sort of sign, signal, or seed, and now there's a little indecision, panic, worry, uncertainty because you haven't seen anything blooming yet. Maybe you've even applied for some different positions or roles and kind of waiting to hear back on that as well. And that could be just contributing to this feeling of not being good enough or not being worthy. Again, waiting for some sort of maybe external validation to make you feel better about yourself, your body, just your life in general. So getting into being a little bit more patient, or when you are in that sort of waiting or holding period where maybe you're not seeing anything happen, just getting a little bit more trust and focusing on something new. Maybe focus on yourself, do some self-care, do some healing. Because he isn't even really looking or noticing at that really big sunflower that is kind of at the back of the field there. Right, so there is some sort of opportunity that really is calling for you. All right, let's see if we can get one more with that. Okay, let's see here. Let's get one more. Okay, two more. Let's see here, some sort of transformation. All right, so we've got Four of Pentacles and Seven of Swords. So like I mentioned, we do have a lot of Pentacles coming out. Four of Pentacles, Seven of Swords. This could be staying stuck in some sort of lies, manipulation, or deceit. This could be just with yourself. Where do you lie to yourself the most? We've all done it. So yeah, there's something, again, that's being held on to. I'm just picking up on that pentacle there and how Piggy is really holding on to that for dear life. Again, that could be even just a belief, a perception, or maybe it is something physical that you don't want to let go of. Whether that is some sort of comfort zone, something with your home, right? Some sort of career or even a relationship. Even though there might be something that is calling you, like I said, at that back of the field, and that could be a wish or a seed you had planted that maybe you never thought you deserved, or that you thought was just kind of out of your reach, or something that would never happen for you. And so Really getting out of this type of energy. All right, so trying to be a little bit more clear, at least with yourself. Allow yourself to be more open, and just notice again where that deceit or lie may be coming in. Because you're just keeping yourself sort of in this cage, keeping yourself small, and really keeping yourself stuck. Obviously, lying doesn't do anyone any favors, but especially when you're doing it to yourself. Like I said, we've all done it. But when you can look back and see things clearly after you've maybe come through some of that, right, you do start to see like, wow, I can't believe I convinced myself of that, or I told myself that, or you could be kind of tweaking a story or just kind of morphing it in a way that sort of makes you feel a little bit better, or maybe even that you don't have to take responsibility or ownership for something. Okay, let's move on to happiness. I love this energy. I am aware that being happy means I am on the right path. All right, so tying back into what I was talking about at the beginning, if you are faced with different choices or decisions, you can just check in with yourself. Do you feel happy when you imagine doing that thing, or being with that person, or taking that job, even if it might be challenging? All right, so happiness is that signal and that key, like we've been talking about. Your body is trying to communicate with you all the time. Just depends if you are listening or not. All right, let's see here. It's definitely time to take some sort of new leap. So where happiness may be being blocked right now, the Justice came out. All right, so some sort of situation that is not fair to you, or that you maybe don't even want to be in anymore. The scales are needing to be wiped clean. Or again, maybe they have been and you're still staying possibly stuck, uncertain, unsure, afraid, maybe holding on to the way something happened last time, so you're afraid to kind of take that jump and move forward towards your Ten of Cups, Ace of Cups under that. Right, so something really amazing is just sort of waiting for you to come out on the scene in whatever way that is. I'm also just picking up on her green flower in her hair here, going with happiness. So as you choose, right, every choice we make starts to tip those scales in one direction or another. So again, what can you do to make those tip in the direction that you want, to start to let happiness be your guiding compass? All right, let's get one more with happiness. All right. So what can you do to move more towards your happiness? The Sun at the bottom of the deck. Ooh, we got the Tower and the Two of Cups. All right, so this again potentially could be, like I said, maybe you've been holding on to something. Let's say this is a relationship for this example. Maybe you're lying to yourself about how that feels to you. Maybe it's not making you happy anymore, but for whatever reason, you're just unable to move on from that, or walk away from that, or make choices that are better for you. Especially with divorce, there can be a lot of feelings of shame or guilt, or even of failure. Like everyone else has, marriage figured out, and everyone else is just running around frolicking with their amazing soulmate. And you weren't able to figure it out. You weren't able to make it work. Okay, but that's really not the case. Every experience is an opportunity to learn more about yourself and grow, right? Learn what you need, what you don't need, right? And sometimes not all people are meant to stay in your life forever, even if that was your intent going into it. Okay, so this could be running away, walking away, with justice out as well. You know, that could be filing for a divorce or telling someone that you want, you know, to separate. And I'm also seeing this like running towards your happiness, or maybe there is a person you didn't go towards because maybe it was different than your usual type, or, you know, there was just something, you know, maybe exciting about that person or exciting about that situation, but for whatever reason, your logical brain was telling you not to go for it. Again, because of whatever this is that you're just holding on to and unwilling to let go of. So yeah, this could be about new partnership or just running towards yourself. Both of us, for the one of you watching. But we have masculine and feminine energy within us. Everyone does, to different levels and degrees. I'm also noticing the lion here up at the top as well. So Leo season coming up real soon here. That could be really important for you. But definitely getting more playful. I mean, the bells are starting to ring. So this is a strong message with the sun under the deck. All right, so let's move on to this underlying energy of regret with acceptance under that. I know that I cannot change the past. All right, let's see what's going to come out here with regret. And we can get stuck in loops, especially if there is something that you have been just getting really overthinking, right? This has really been, what did I do with the cards here? Ooh, Wheel of Fortune wanted to come out. I have no idea what I just did, but Wheel of Fortune. So something about destiny and timing. Number 10, it's time to end a cycle and start something new. I'm getting sort of, again, that grounding energy, going within to understand, right? Your heart, your intuition is your compass. So this regret, whatever this might be, maybe something did sort of fall in your lap or present itself or come up into your awareness, and you didn't take advantage of that. You could be regretting that choice, wishing you had done something different, and now all these other things are starting to happen, right? That regret is kind of staying stuck in your mind and your body. That makes it harder to get connected to your intuition and really know what to do, because you just start to feel like you did it wrong, right? But you cannot miss out on what is meant for you. So what can you learn about yourself and the way you maybe reacted or didn't really react with whatever this might be? And again, focusing definitely more on that happiness. Let's look at Sad Bunny here, right? There are things that are wanting to come in. You can see this Ace of Cups coming in from the side. Those little sunnies on top. And there's just Sad Bunny. Despondent, upset, just kind of looking back at these other three cups, this regret, the choices that she wished she had made differently. All right, let's see here. Let's get just one more. All right, Six of Cups with Ten of Swords at the bottom. So it's time to get out of the stuck mental energy. Get more into your body, go for a walk, just set that down for a minute, right? Even if it is something that you still need to work through and you still need to deal with, have you up to this point? Notice if you've just been stuck, again, in that loop of overthinking, replaying, re-upsetting yourself, negative, all the negative things, right? It's time to just put that aside. You can set it aside for 5 minutes. You can always pick it back up again. But just let yourself be a little lighter, feel a little bit more free. But with this regret and you know, the best way to move through regret, Six of Cups is what came out, which can be about nostalgia and the past. So again, I know that I cannot change the past. So maybe this is doing some like early childhood healing, looking back at some things maybe that happened to you when you were younger. As you can see, it looks like she's looking at maybe a portrait of herself as a younger child. Again, notice there's 3 cups, just like that bunny was looking at inside the photo, and there's also 3 more on top. Right here, she's playing with those cups in the photo on top. They're just set on top. So definitely something about emotions tied to childhood, or even things that lit you up as a child, but maybe those were subdued or pushed away. All right, so maybe there was something, a hobby, or you know, some sort of passion that you used to do, and for some reason maybe that wasn't practical, or you just ended up going a different direction in life. And being willing to kind of look back and learn from those things, and instead of doing the replay mode of regret and shame and guilt and what if and why, right? That's exhausting. Just take an actual look at it, so you can really get to the root of that. Maybe you can understand why, you know, why you were doing what you did. And again, it's time to just really start running towards your happiness. It's time to start taking your own, right, the scales into your own hands. Right? You deserve justice. You deserve fairness. You definitely deserve beautiful blended energy, connection to your higher self, and you deserve connections with other people. All right, so we all deserve happiness. You absolutely deserve happiness. And that really is the focus and the biggest message. Spirit wants you to just check in, right? And start to use your heart, your intuition as your guiding compass, right? Those feelings of bliss and happiness are telling you that's the right thing. That's the right path. That's the way to go, even if it's not easy, right? Even if you have to leave something behind, right? But you are definitely worth it. All right, so that is the message that we've got here from Mind, Body, Spirit, your mind, body, spirit. I hope there was something helpful here for you, and I hope you start following and working towards that happiness. You can find just one little thing that you could do today to feel a little bit happier, or maybe even make a little tiny step towards that path or towards that direction. But yeah, that's what we've got. Thank you again for being here. And until next time, peace.